Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Richmond. My name is Sharon Amos and it's my honor to serve on your board of directors. And I'm going to wish you a very brief welcome this morning. Welcome to this community that works hard to make justice real, both inside our walls and outside. We're so glad that you're here today. It's your presence that makes this a sacred place. Welcome.
Good morning, and welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Richmond. I am the Reverend Sherman Z. Logan, Jr., and have the privilege of serving this wonderful congregation as the senior minister. Here we use visual description as an accommodation for people with low vision. So I'm a tall, brown-skinned, handsome black man, bald head, white beard, and wearing glasses. I'm wearing a brown suit, a yellow bow tie, off-white shirt, and a black, brown, and orange stole with printed Sankofa birds. And I use he, his, him pronouns. This morning we're joined in worship by worship and music director Jamie Kirkpatrick. And providing the ministry of music, we have a trio of Lillian Dean on the clarinet, Walter Dean on the bassoon, and Hyde Bain on the flute. And our song leaders, and Hyde is doing double duty, Hyde Bain, Judith Alexander, Joanne Walker, and Barry Ramsey. We have Oscar and Eric helping us with AV. And this morning, assisting me in worship are Margaret McGugan, Joel Blum, and Joyce Wilston, members of the First UU in support of indigenous people. This ministry is devoted to learning, listening, and acting in solidarity with the tribal nations of Virginia. And their work calls us to deepen our understanding of indigenous history, confront ongoing erasures, and support meaningful ways to give back based on the needs indigenous community have named. So may our worship today open our hearts to truth, justice, and right relationship. It is our custom here at First UU that we welcome our newcomers by passing the mic, giving you the opportunity to introduce yourself and let us know where you're from. So if you are comfortable in doing so, please raise your hand and Jamie will bring the mic to you. You must not be comfortable, huh? All right.
Oh, we got that? All right. Yay! Good morning.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. This is my second time here, and I forgot the rest of the questions. I live locally. I think that was one of them where I'm from. So happy to be here. Thank you.
Welcome.
Cool.
Okay, thank you. Now it's time to greet one another. For those who are attending virtually, you can introduce yourself and chat. And those in the sanctuary, please stand and welcome your visitors. call to worship the words from Laura Horton Ludwig. The wheel of the year has turned again. Once more Thanksgiving season has arrived. How shall we sing our song of gratitude now? For what shall we give thanks? For this moment, for friends near and far, for our breath, for love, for courage and clarity, for strength, for delight, for laughter, for beauty, for tables round which we gather, for the food we enjoy with friends, seasoned with love and memories, for the sun and moon and stars in the sky, for the trees who have seen so much and still stand proud, stretching themselves to the sky, for the bright voices of children, for the wisdom of elders, for actions that bless the world, for hard work that makes a difference, for music and art and celebration, for generosity, for compassion, for endurance, for joy, for hope. For all these things, we give thanks as we worship together.
Good morning. I'm Joel Blum, and as Reverend Sherman already said, I'm a member of the Support of Indigenous Peoples group here at the church. I'm listed formally, I guess, as white, but according to my wife, my skin is tanned with some pink in it. As opposed to Reverend Sherman, I'm short, which I got from my father. I also got my father's nose, which I think is the most obvious thing on my face. My preferred pronouns are he, his, him, and occasionally they. I'm in my 9th decade. I still have some hair, wear glasses. I'm wearing all black except for a pink shirt that sort of highlights my skin tone. So I'm going to start with the land acknowledgement, which is something that we always begin our meetings, our Support of Indigenous Peoples meetings, and then this is followed by a pledge. And I learned this morning that this land acknowledgement originated here. It wasn't actually formulated, but Reverend Gene Pupke raised this issue in a conversation just before the pandemic shut us down. So here's the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the land on which we worship is the traditional land of the Powhatan people and is likely land through which other indigenous peoples traveled. We acknowledge that enslaved African people and their descendants likely labored and lived on this land. We recognize these and other people displaced, enslaved, and/or harmed by past injustices. And along with this comes a pledge. We pledge that we will follow our faith in love and work to make our congregation and our larger community more accessible, inclusive, and equitable. We pledge that we will be good stewards of the land by encouraging healthy ecosystems. We pledge to remember the past while building a more just and welcoming future for all. And now, for the chalice lighting. This is a prayer from the Lakota tradition. Wakan Tanka, great mystery. Teach me how to trust my heart, my mind, my intuition, my inner knowing, the senses of my body, the blessings of my spirit. Teach me to trust these things so that I may enter my sacred space and love beyond my fear, and thus walk in balance with the passing of each glorious sun.
And please rise in body or in spirit, and let us sing our opening hymn, Come, Ye Thankful People.
Good morning. I'm Margaret McGugan, and I'm one of the founding members of our church's group, First UU's in support of Indigenous peoples. At 65, using she, her pronouns, I stand about 5'5", with fairly long, brown with gray hair. I'm wearing glasses and a multicolored green sweater with a white shirt. I'm of Western European descent. I fell in love with Thanksgiving long before I understood its conflicting and deceiving presence. Thanksgiving Day was easy to love in my family of origin. It required the least amount of money, effort, and preparation. So it came with less stress than some of the other holidays. On the other hand, it gave a wonderful, predictable meal with Grandma and the tradition that is carried on to this day of reading Lydia Marie Child's poem, Thanksgiving Day. I'm grateful for the joy Thanksgiving Day brings me. But can we be grateful and sorrowful? Grateful and desperate? Can we hold seemingly opposite entities together at once? How can we not? Burdens are sometimes obvious, other times hidden beneath a polished facade, and still other times they're disguised with rose-colored glasses. According to Strong Heart's Native Helpline, gratitude is good for your mind and body. One study found that the effect on positive affect appeared to be the most robust finding. Results suggest that a conscious focus on blessings may have emotional and interpersonal benefits. Gratitude also boosts brain chemicals that help you feel happier and more connected. For people healing from trauma, gratitude can lower depression and anxiety. It helps your brain focus on hope and healing. I'm grateful. And also I wonder, would I still be grateful if my burden was doubled? If it was systemic? If it was ongoing and perpetrated by my neighbors, my community, my government? Gratitude and burdens aren't mutually exclusive. How do we keep moving forward towards whatever goal we have and not allow our burdens to distract us? Distract us with anger, righteous anger, bitterness, sadness. How do we keep our eye on the prize? Hold gratitude and burden in the cup of our hands while our eyes and mind are on the horizon. Strong Heart's Native Helpline also observes, Native teachings say, giving thanks brings balance to you, your community, and the land. Thank you.
Now I invite Patience Sagado to please come forward to share information on this month's Share the Plate recipients, Health Brigade.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today. My name is Patience Salgado. I am a tallish woman with curly, dirty blonde hair and definitely need some readers. I'm wearing a kind of a cream fluffy sweater. My pronouns are she, hers, and I'm so glad to share this story with you today. It's a story, y'all. The weight of her love. It starts from the very beginning, from the first moment of knowing. We carry them, some of us in our bodies, all of us in our hearts. There is a way that motherhood shifts our insides that changes us forever, in our physical body, in our spirit, in the way that we love. The very real weight of that love can feel heavy and hard at times, and in other moments, it is a joy like no other, making it difficult to even explain with mere words. Sometimes we just wear it on our face. The burden, the bliss, the fear, the weariness, the pride, the love. When she came into the medical clinic that day, it was all there, including a bad back. A quick trip out to her car to help her revealed the why. Her preteen daughter with cerebral palsy was sitting in the back seat. There was no wheelchair in sight. She was carrying more than any mother should ever have to, literally lifting her daughter in and out of the car, the school bus, the bed, each and every day. It became clear that the way to care for her and what she needed most was for us to listen and provide support for her children. Our community health worker did just that. We had to move beyond our walls and right into her everyday burdens. She went with the mom to the pediatrician, to the school, provided translation, advocacy, and a companionship in the middle of so much. It was simply someone to carry it with you, to know you're not alone. It's what every human needs, maybe mothers most of all. A wheelchair, diapers, food, and mental health care for 2 siblings with special needs helped to bring some stability and fulfilled our promise to help lighten her load. But for some of us, the weight of the world always seems to find a way back. Just this August, while on her way to the grocery store to buy food for her family, she was stopped, detained, and deported to the country she fled under violence. For 3 days, her family had no idea where she was, what had happened, and no chance to say goodbye. Now, a dad is left to carry a new weight on his own, and a mother carries the unimaginable burden of being separated from her children. It's hard to wrap your mind around it all, the tragedy, the sadness, but we return to what we know, that care is resistance. The kind of care that sees people fully, honors their humanity, meets them where they are, gives them exceptional health care, and insists on dignity for all, even in the darkest moment, especially in the darkest moment. It is the care that says we are still here no matter what. That same community health worker stepped in again to make sure the support and longer-term resources and care for the kids would continue, for that mom and for all the aching love she still carries. Thank you.
Police look to the monitors for ways to give. The ushers are passing the basket. The offering will be taken and most graciously received. As we enter into a time of prayer, reflection, meditation, hear these words from Reverend Connie Simon. We are still grateful. Spirit life. We have been distressed by economic uncertainty, and many of our siblings continue to struggle financially. We have been racked by political divisiveness that has torn families apart and friendships. We have been troubled by racial injustice, prejudice that continue to divide us at a time when we need one another more than ever. We are tired, and yet we are grateful. Grateful for the earth that produces the food we eat, grateful for the hands that grow it, tend it, deliver it, and prepare it. Grateful for the warmth of the sun and shelter from the cold. Grateful for those who work to heal our sickness. Grateful for our families and friends, even though we may find ourselves apart this Thanksgiving. Grateful for another and the opportunity to begin again in love to address our differences and mend our relationships. Grateful for the gift of life itself. We are grateful. Amen, Ashe, may this be so. We live in a world obsessed with illusion of perfection. From the moment we open our eyes each morning, we are bombarded with messages that say, get it together, look good, be successful, be productive, be fine. We stroll through feeds full of flawless faces and spotless kitchen and carefully curated lives, and deep down we start to believe the lie that to be loved, to be accepted, to be blessed, we have to have it all together. Now, I don't know about you this morning, but I know I don't have my stuff together. Because, beloved, in real life, real breathing, sacred Unitarian Universalist life is messy, it's unpredictable, it's unfinished. It spilled coffee on the carpets, the arguments that still stings, the grief that sneaks up years later. It's a sermon still being written late Saturday night. Can I get an amen from the preachers in the house? And yet, that's where the beauty lies. That's where a life of thank you is born, not in the perfect moment, but in the imperfect one. Our culture tells us to clean up before company comes, but the Spirit says, let me in just as you are. Our culture tells us to hide the cracks, the stains, the tears, but the Spirit says that's where the lights get in. So a thankful heart doesn't wait for the cleanup crew. This holy practice of saying thank you meets us in the middle of the mess and blesses it. That's the gospel truth for today. The way of living is not reserved for the polished moments. It is a spiritual practice that embraces the chaos, the flaws, the unfinished story. Somebody say this morning, bless this mess. Now, if gratitude can find us in the clutter of our own living, then it surely can follow us right into the places where life gets the loudest and most tender. If this practice can bless everyday mess, it can bless the holiday mess too. And because it's the Thanksgiving season, let's bring that truth to the table, literally. You know, this time of year, the table is set, the plates come out, the family gathers, and so does attention. A season meant to be warm, to warm the heart, can sometimes test the soul. The turkey burns, the family argues, somebody brings up politics, somebody stays silent, and maybe this year, somebody's chair would be heartbreakingly empty. But sometimes Thanksgiving is messy. Sometimes appreciation feels hard to find, and sometimes the table is more complicated than the cookbook. And yet, that's where the spirit of thank you still finds us. Because life is messy, imperfect, unpredictable, and that's exactly where the beauty lies. The way of living is not pretending that the table is perfect, it's learning to whisper, I'm grateful anyway. Because the table of life is never neat. It is a potluck of blessings and burdens, joy and sorrows, laughter and tears, and our Unitarian Universalist faith declare all of it belongs. So what if this year we give thanks not only for the blessings, but in the midst of the burdens? Thank you for the dishes piled high. It means we had enough to eat. Thank you for the awkward conversation. It means we're still learning to love each other. Thank you for the tears at the table. It means our hearts remembers. And this practice does not wait for perfection. It pulls up the chair in the middle of the chaos and said, even here, there's grace. And if grace can meet us at our own messy tables, let me tell you about someone who stepped in everyone's mess. Jesus, not the airbrush picture floating above the world's pain, but the one who walked straight in it. Luke chapter 5 in the New Testament tells us that Jesus didn't spend his time with the powerful or the polished. He didn't host dinner parties for the religious elites. He broke bread with the broken, sat down with the sinners, and lingered with the lonely. Jesus walked up to the tax collector tables, looked past the mess, and said, follow me. He touched the untouchables, blessed the unworthy, called the messy ones, the tax collectors, the fishermen, women with reputation, and said, come with me. His ministry wasn't about status. It was about soul. It wasn't about perfection. It was about presence. He didn't demand that people clean up before he loved them. He loved them right where they were. And that love transformation began. And beloved, that same spirit lives in our UU tradition, the radical affirmation of the inherent worth and dignity, not just for the tidy, the well-spoken, the educated, or the successful, but for every single one of us. And the gospel according to Jesus and the gospel according to Unitarian Universalists whisper the same truth. You are beloved, mess and all. Unitarian Universalism at its best is not a religion for the perfect. It's a home for the human. We affirm the inherent worth, not earned worth, not polished worth, inherent worth. And that means embrace yourself. Even your mess have dignity. You see, some faiths teaches that to be holy, you must be spotless. Our faith teaches that to be holy, you must be honest. We don't come to church because we figured it all out. We come because we're still figuring out. We don't have to polish our halos. We come to repair our hearts. And if your week was messy, you're in the right place. If your heart is both grateful and grieving, you're in the right place. And you don't have to be perfect to belong here. You just have to be present. Somebody say again, bless this mess. Now, y'all know me. I won't preach when I'm not willing to live. So let me tell you a word from my own story this morning. There was a season, and maybe you lived through one, when I thought everything had to make sense. I convinced myself that ministry had to be smooth, every sermon flawless, every pastoral visit wise enough to fix whatever walked through the door. I thought my calling demanded perfection, polish, and control. And let me tell you, that pressure, that myth held me back. It kept me from answering my call to ministry. It kept me from saying yes to the very life my spirit was trying to grow into. And for years, I stayed on the sidelines because I believe that God only called the tidy, the perfect, the certain, the already put together. And then life showed me otherwise. Grief felt heavy on my chest. My prayers came out tangled. Nothing I said or could do to make the situation tidy. And it was in that mess, not outside of it, that this new way of seeing found me. It wasn't loud, it wasn't bold, it wasn't bright, it wasn't joy, it was a whisper. You're still here, still breathing, still surrounded by love, still capable of kindness. And that whisper became a prayer. And this practice didn't erase the mess, it blessed it. It didn't remove the pain, it gave me strength to hold it. It didn't tie up the story, it taught me how to live inside of it. And you know, sometimes the holiest thing that we can do is whisper, thank you, through our tears. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is to say, I don't know where this is going, but I'm grateful for the journey. And this is not pretending that everything is fine. It is trusting that everything belongs, even this. So if this is a way of seeing how do we practice it, this posture of the heart is not a mood. It is a discipline. It is not a once-a-year holiday. It is a way of life. It is not saying everything happened for a reason. It's about saying everything belongs. It's about training our eyes to find the holy even in the hard. And so when the house is loud, thank you. When your coffee is cold, thank you. When you're sitting in traffic, thank you. When you're in the hospital and words fail, thank you for the breath that still connects us. This stand won't make the mess disappear, but it'll make you spacious enough to live within peace. And when we lean into that kind of practice, that quiet, steady, thank you in all things, we find ourselves standing in a very old stream of wisdom, the one that has been following through the saints and mystics for centuries. In the words attributed to Christian mystic Meister Eckhart, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it would be enough. So thank you for this day. Thank you for this body. Thank you for this time to start again. And when that simple prayer roots itself in us, it begins to do its quiet work, reshaping how we see and how we feel and how we understand our lives. And when this way of seeing shape our hearts, it changes not only our feelings, but our meaning, and that's transformation, because it turns what we have into enough and what we endure into wisdom. It doesn't deny the wound, it dignifies it. It doesn't erase the story, it redeems it. Every scar, every detour, every heartbreak becomes a part of the mosaic of who we are. And when we stop running from the mess, we discover that God, ultimate mystery, the spirit of life and love, was never outside of it. And now, this mess is not an obstacle to grace. It is a stage where grace performs its greatest act. And when we give thanks for the broken places, we participate in restoration. When we bless the confusion, we participate in creation. And when we accept imperfection, we participate in liberation. And instead of saying, I'll be grateful when things get better, we learn to say, I would be grateful right here, right now, and I'll bless this mess. And because it is Thanksgiving season, we take transformation to the table at home, and the table we share here at church. So this Thanksgiving, as we gather at our own messy tables, filled with laughter, tears, memory, and hope, and we say everyone belongs, every story matters, every light has value, and here at First UU, or wherever your spiritual home may be, the table is not about perfect ritual. It's about real presence. When we say thank you together, we proclaim a deep truth. We belong to one another, and we depend on one another. We give thanks not just for life, but for community, this circle of love that holds us through every season. So this Thanksgiving, let's give thanks for the whole table, for the elders who carry our stories, for the children who remind us how to laugh, for the questions that won't go away, for the courage that keeps showing up, for the love that's stronger than difference. Because this is the circle of our shared Thanksgiving, receiving, belonging, and giving back. And we give thanks for all of it, we sustain the grace that sustains us all. And the circle doesn't end at the table. It stretches out into life we build together, shaping who we are as a community. And this way of thank you is not just personal, it's communal. And when we give thanks together, we stitch ourselves into the fabric of belonging. And in this congregation, we're not a gathering of the perfect, we are the circle of the becoming. We show up with our messy schedule, our tender hearts, our honest doubts, and somehow together we create something beautiful. And that's church, y'all. Not a museum of saints, but a workshop for souls. Not a showroom for the polished, but a shelter for the growing. And when we share this practice in community and remind one another that we're not alone in our imperfection, we learn to hold space for each other's stories. We learn to say, you don't have to have it all together to be loved. And that, beloved, is the heart of grace. So as we go from this place in the week ahead, receive this not as a polished prayer, but a clear invitation and a charge. The path isn't about perfection, it is about participation. It is a choice to show up for the whole of life and refuse to wait until everything is fixed before you give thanks. And when life feels heavy or uncertain, when the plan falls apart, when the diagnosis changes everything, when the prayers go unanswered, pause, breathe, whisper, bless this mess. Because this mess means we are alive. It means we are learning. It means that love hasn't given up on us yet. So carry this with you when you leave this morning. Be grateful for the tears that soften you. Be grateful for the mistakes that taught you. Be grateful for the detours that redirected you. Be grateful for the love that broke you open. Be grateful for the grace that keep on finding you. And remember, light will never be tidy, but it would be true. And if it's true, it's holy. So let us travel this journey together, hand in hand, heart to heart, through the beauty of the brokenness, through the laughter and the longing, the grace and the grit, and let our chorus rise. Bless this mess, for it is holy. Bless this mess, because it's human. Bless this mess, for it is ours. And let the people of love say, Amen. And may this be so. Thank you so much. Beautiful music this morning. Just a quick reminder before we close worship. This morning, after service around 11:15, we're gathered together as a community for our Thanksgiving potluck. And I want to thank all the volunteers who made this celebration possible. The table setups are festive, beautifully done, and truly reflect the care and creativity you bring to our community. So we hope you stay and join us for good food, good fellowship, and that good UU spirit of gratitude. Donations are $9 for individuals and $15 for family. And as always, if cost is a barrier, you're welcome to the table anyway. And as we begin serving, we ask that we honor our elders, seasoned citizens, and families with small children but allow them to move through the line first. So bring your joy, bring your appetite, and bring your gratitude, and save me a plate.
This Land is a poem by Joy Harjo, member of the Myokogal Greek nation, Tulsa, Oklahoma. This land is a poem of ochre and burnt sand I could never write unless paper were the sacrament of sky and ink the broken line of wild horses staggering the horizon several miles away. Even then, does anything matter to the earth, wind, and sky?
Please rise and bow to the Spirit as I give the benediction. Now, as we go from this place, may the mess of life never make you doubt its beauty. May the gratitude find you in the ordinary and the unexpected. May love meet you exactly where you are and lean you toward who you're becoming. Go in peace, go in courage, and grow in grace, and bless this mess as you go. Now, we invite Barry to come forward to lead us in the closing hymn in which he composed, New Gathering.
Yeah, like Sherman just said, Barry wrote this. I don't know if you know this about him, but he's a prolific writer. And I would like to teach it to you. Thank you, slides, before we get in there so you can feel more comfortable. So I'll go first and then you copy. We gather together in bounty and blessing. We gather together in bounty and blessing. We gather now rather than being alone. We gather now rather than being alone. One day every nation will have no desolation. One day